how to fix LCP issues in Google Search Console. Although I've created a tutorial, I'm creating an updated one because the latest Google Chrome gives us more insights for fixing LCP issues. So I'll try and simplify it. Basically, when a web page loads on a browser, the way the browser renders it is by calculating code and frame by frame. So therefore, when you hear the term largest contentful pane, think of it as a web browser painting the frames so that people can see. Sometimes you may have noticed that, when you load a web page, it takes a bit of time. So that's the painting process, so to speak, okay? So then, largest contentful pane shown in Google Search Console, Core Web Vitals report. Mobile, it's for people who have used Google Chrome to visit your website using a mobile device. And desktop, obviously, then is someone using a desktop device. When you're looking at these LCP issues, any URLs that takes longer than 4 seconds to load, they must be fixed. Why? Because page performance is a ranking factor. So if we don't fix the poor performing URLs, then you're losing website traffic, and that's the last thing that you want to do. URLs that need improvement, that will depend on the competitiveness of your industry. So depending on your resources, you may actually ignore URLs need improvement to a degree if you are within an industry that's less competitive. For example, let's say you're a local business offering fencing services compared to someone who's selling t-shirts online. As you can see, that's two completely different industries, and one will be more competitive than the other. So therefore, URLs that need improvement, that will depend on your resources to correct, as in fix. But any URLs shown in Search Console that is saying poor URLs, that means it's taking longer than 4 seconds to load. As in, web page takes very long to show something to its users. So therefore, you need to focus on URLs as an LCP issue longer than 4 seconds, whether it's on mobile or desktop, okay? So you have tools here such as PageSpeed Insights. You can conduct tests. Basically, this actually shows you the same data because this is coming from Chrome user experience data. So when we open the report, in my example, I can only show you need improvement. But if you are seeing LCP issue longer than 4 seconds, then the report and the way to fix them is basically the same. Search Console will group URLs and tell you the score for the LCP accordingly. And in my example, it's the blog section of my website is having problems. So therefore I can say, okay, you know what? I can focus on optimizing the blog portion. Let's imagine you have an e-commerce site. If that's the case, you may see product URLs there. That means if you have blogs as well as product URLs, then you want to focus on your product URLs. So here we can actually press on PageSpeed Insights and gain a more detailed report for largest contentful pane. As we can see, for a typical blog post, largest contentful pane is within the needs improvement area. So here I can say, okay, you know what? I'll show you the front page. As we can see, the front page of Rank Your Website is performing 100%. And I can press on LCP tab here and see some insights as to what I can do to improve it. PageSpeed Insights is a great tool that will help you to better understand the LCP issues. And here it's telling you, you know what, these are the certain things you can do. Now, if you're looking at this and scratching your head thinking, well, I don't understand what these are. If that's the case, let me simplify it. Basically, think of it as 3 parts of optimizing the LCP. One is your web server. If you're on a poor performing shared server, for example, perhaps the easiest way to fix Core Web Vital issues will be to get a better web server that's fast and it's built on better technology. If your target audience is globally based, perhaps using Content Delivery Network may actually help with Core Web Vital issues. Okay, so always ask yourself, you know what are your resources? If you're, let's say, using Shopify, then you're stuck with Shopify per se. You can't really change a web host. But even then, you may find different ways to serve the content on your website, depending on your target audience. Search Console Performance Report can actually give you more insights as to where people are located. Because in Australia, we use 4G network for mobile, or even 5G network, so that's a bit fast. But if your target audience is in a different country that has not a good web internet connection, then you want to say, okay, you know what? Can I serve content using content delivery networks? So always focus on your web server and the way you're delivering content. Next, focus on your images. Because images play an important part of any website, there is always opportunities for optimizing images. So I won't cover how to optimize it, because Rank Your Website and Rank Your YouTube channel shows you how to do that. Also, each website uses a lot of styles and scripts, but some of them are render blocking, and that's directly related to LCP issue. Render blocking is some scripts or styles blocks the rendering of a web page. If that's the case, you want to identify which ones they are and remove not remove, but optimize their loading. You can group CSS files, so instead of making 5 or 10 web requests, you can perhaps group them into just 1 or 2. You can do that for style sheets as well as JavaScripts. Using Web Developer Toolbar, you can press on F12 on your keyboard. Performance Report, latest 2025 version of Google Chrome, gives you insights in terms of LCP reports here, as in the score. So you can actually test different parts of your website, look at performance report, and here it will give you insights as to LCP by phase, render blocking requests, as in what they are, and so on. In the previous video session, I've shown you basic examples in terms of how you can perhaps group CSS for WordPress, or you can use similar methods for your content management system. And here, looking at this performance report, you can actually zoom in if you have the experience and say, okay, anything that's in red color can give you an opportunity to optimize. In this example, it's saying, you know what, that JavaScript is blocking the rendering of this web page. So then, looking at this report, when we press on LCP, it will give you some insights But don't get confused as to say, you know what, I need to optimize that image. The way the LCP works is that whether it's mobile view or desktop view, when someone lands on a landing page, the browser has to calculate the web page code over. And for it to display this area, which is the largest contentful pane, is the main area. It has taken longer than 2.5 seconds in this example, but you may be looking at yours and it may be longer than 4 seconds. So basically, looking at the source code, the browser looks at the code and calculates it. It doesn't have to calculate everything to display the largest contentful paint area. It just needs to calculate what is shown in the largest contentful paint area. And if it's too slow, then the person visiting your website doesn't see anything. And they just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. Thus, that provides bad user experience. That's why Core Web Vitals LCP issues longer than 4 seconds must be fixed. So the tools available is Performance tab. You can analyze it. Perhaps that's a bit technical, but you can also look at Coverage Report and take a look at any CSS files that's 100% not used. And if so, you want to remove that CSS file from a page load. Perhaps it's needed for blog posts, loaded on blog posts only. If it's only needed on product URLs, then load it on the product URLs only and optimize it accordingly, okay? So I'll render this video. Check out Rank Your Website because I'm creating an updated tutorial that will simplify fixing LCP issues. And I'll talk with you in the next video session.